the Browns analyst, the Browns legend. He joins us right now on the fan hotline. Excuse me, we just had Daryl on. Joe, I got to start it with something different here. Where do you get off showing up on that idiot's podcast? His connection's
bringing on a day where we're feeling so happy and positive about the Brownies winning 8+ games and smashing the Cincinnati Bengals this weekend. You come at me with that to start?
Joe's connection is messed up.
In my back.
Okay, hold on. I want to make sure. Let's call Joe again to make sure we got a good connection here, because now I felt bad because I showed up on Johnny's podcast.
I know. Johnny's making the rounds and getting all sorts of publicity.
Yeah.
As if the Browns did him dirty.
No, they didn't do him dirty. All right, here we go. Let's get Joe back. Hello, Joe. We have you.
We got me now. Yeah.
Okay.
Your treasonous actions knocked me off the phone line.
Well, I'm the one who's treasonous here. I got this moron, this idiot. What are you doing acting on Stupid's podcast? What are we doing here?
It's interesting. I did that podcast, and then 2 days later, he must have done the latest podcast where he was blaming the Browns for his thing. And I'm like, no, why did you do that? Now I'm going to look like a real idiot for going on your show. But I two things I'll say about Johnny. One, I think he's a good person. He was a friend, still is a friend. I care about him, but he is very delusional about whose fault it is. But I think that's because inside he's a good person, and he can't accept the fact that he was not able to be successful because he did it to himself. He was not responsible. He was not mature. He was not professional. And if anything, should be mad to be the Browns because they drafted him in the first round, and he didn't give them the effort or the opportunity to even develop him into a franchise quarterback. But I think as a good person, and maybe this is just me being an optimist who doesn't hold grudges or anything like that, but I think he just can't come to terms with the fact that he screwed it up and then he squandered his opportunity in the NFL, and so he needs somebody to blame still, which clearly it's part of the issue, part of the problems we're dealing with. But I definitely think that he is way off thinking that it's the Browns' fault that he did not make it in the NFL.
I mean, I'll accept it, but Joe could tell me that the grass is red, and I'd probably accept that too. So, Tone, you go right on ahead.
And Joe, I don't think there are many situations where people debate, well, if this guy went to any other team but the Browns. But I think, Johnny, it's the same story on all 32 teams. I mean, I really do believe that.
Yeah. I think it's the same story because what torpedoed his career was the late nights, the partying, the drugs and alcohol, and the not showing up and studying. And there's no formula for success in the NFL if that's your MO. If that's your routine, it doesn't really matter what you put around them or where you go, because you're the reason for your own demise. Because as a quarterback in the NFL, you have to put in so much more time than everybody else who's already putting in more time than Johnny did when he was with the Browns. So it's a matter of commitment, professionalism, and if you don't have it, you're not going to have success anywhere. It's not like he was torpedoed because he had this terrible roster around him with bad coaching. I mean, Kyle Shanahan was his offensive coordinator from what I remember. And from what I know is he's a pretty good offensive coordinator from my experience. And then with empirical data, watching him go to other places and take them to the Super Bowl with great offenses. So could you say maybe my coaches, I wish some of my position coaches were better, like he talked about on his podcast. He talked about his position coach at quarterback, felt like more of a friend, which – yeah, well, in the NFL, a lot of times your coaches feel like friends. Like, as a matter of fact, when you get up there at age, Joe Flacco's older than his quarterback coach right now. Like, you have to deal with getting yourself there and being self-driven and motivated and self-studied. And you can't just wait for your coach or somebody else to make you do stuff. You have to do it on your own in the NFL.
That is a very good point that Joe shares with everybody. And I think that when I first started being around the team, that was like one of the most eye-opening things that I ever had. And this is years and years and years ago where you guys call each other by first names. It's like, yeah, it's a workplace. Keith doesn't shout down to me and then make me go run laps and all the other things. Like it's a shared type of responsibility here. So if he weren't ready for that, that's on him. But either way, we got a situation coming up here on Sunday where you got the Cincinnati Bengals. We want to start off on the right foot. The Browns have had a relatively pretty good history against Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm starting to get excited, Joe. And this is probably not going to go the way that a lot of people want it to go, because I think a lot of people want to calm me down. I'm going from 6 wins to 8 wins because I'm looking at the team and seeing a lot of pieces that were here in 2023. And then I talked to Bernie yesterday, and I'm going, maybe things are going to go better. So is 8 wins out of the question for this Cleveland Browns football team? Could they go further than that? And if they don't, what do you think costs them the most?
You and I have the same keys, and it's something like Browns fan-itis, because I just find myself talking and thinking and believing that this season is going to be really fun and we're going to blow expectations away. Like, just being a team during training camp, feeling the vibe that they have, the way that it's a veteran-driven culture right now with the veteran offensive line and David Njoku and Joe Flacco and Denzel Ward and Myles Garrett, like the positions that matter: quarterback, receiver, tight end, tackle, offensive line, defensive line, cornerback. These positions that are like your key positions are all driven by veteran leaders who've been around, who've built a good culture, who understand what it takes to win in the NFL. And there's a lot of great vibes. And I think that this team is a team that's got a chip on its shoulder. It's a team that likes being the underdog. It likes being overlooked. And I think it's just a different feeling than certainly last year and some of the other Browns teams that I've been a part of or been around, where, you know, you have that veteran culture that finds a way to win those close games. And I think the way that Kevin Stefanski wants to play and will play this year, where they're going to lean on that perimeter run game like we did a couple years ago with the outside zone and the pin pull and the crack concepts, where you're pulling your guards, you're getting out to the edges, hitting play action shots with Flacco, and then just having a tough, stingy defense led by Myles Garrett, who's not going to get blocked once this whole season, probably held on every play, but they won't call it, but that's just the way it is. But I think that style just fits really well with a team that's got a chip on its shoulder, that's veteran-driven, because they know how to win and they know how to take advantage and make small little adjustments and plays within the game that make the difference in a close game. And so I want to say more than 8 wins, but I don't want to disappoint myself, because maybe that's a little bit too optimistic, and I don't want to feel like I did last year. But I'm right with you, Ken. I think right there around 500, I feel like that's where they're going to be.
All right, Joe Thomas with us. I'm curious about going into just week one. We see so many silly things. It's part of why some people are picking the Browns, because week one is not necessarily indicative of the entire season. We see a lot of different upsets, and I'm just curious your mindset going into a season, especially considering like the Bengals are making this like the Super Bowl. Like they do not want to get off to a bad start. They even went so far as to play their guys in the preseason as much as they did.
Yeah, like you said, Bengals historically under Joe Burrow have just been slow to start, and there's so many unknowns when you go into the first game of the season. I remember going into my first game of my rookie season, and like you're watching tape from guys that don't even play for that team anymore. You're watching tape of guys that were playing somewhere else that you're trying to extrapolate how they're going to be used into the system. You're trying to watch some preseason stuff, maybe to just get a little hint of what the coordinator is doing. Sometimes when you got a new coordinator in that first game, you're watching stuff that he did in college, right? Just trying to get ready for all the what-if situations. And so it is really hard. Neither team really knows who the other team's going to be, so there's a lot of feeling each other out. But I think from the Bengals standpoint, I think they almost put too much pressure on themselves to start fast. And historically, it's been a very cool, calm, laid-back team. I think Joe Burrow has carry that tradition over, where he's Mr. Cool, Joe Cool, which I really like Joe Burrow. I wish he was my quarterback, but I think that sort of attitude sometimes doesn't lead you to having those fast starts, because you don't have that sense every week, and fans are questioning you, and then you pull it together and you play with that sense of urgency, and you prepare with that sense of urgency, which is really important, which that really how you prepare is how you're going to play on Sunday. But I think the Browns got their number this weekend.
How has Dewan taken to your help, your advice, and then, of course, Mike Bloomgren's coaching?
Well, I've seen a maturity jump in Dewan that's been really fun to be around. And, you know, being around a guy for a couple of weeks, you're not going to really make lasting changes technically. You're going to suggest and you're going to work on stuff. But really the thing that I focused on was trying to help him build a process of thinking about every rep, every day that he goes to work, how he prepares for the day in the morning where he's writing his notes. He's watching film. He's outlining his to-do list of what he wants to work on, how he's going to work on those things, like just those little goal-setting things that he can do during the week to create that process to get himself confident for the weekend, to play well, but then also be able to self-correct when you're on the field so that you can kind of build this process that it's almost like building a computer, like an AI computer, where you're just trying to be able to have it continue to learn even when you're not there anymore. And I think he did a great job really just absorbing that and trying to make it his own. So I've been checking in with him each week that I haven't been there since training camp, and just seeing how things are going, seeing what tweaks he's made, working on making note cards as a way to study each day for practice and the little changes that you have every week. And so I'm really optimistic. I'm not saying that it's a finished product, because I think some of the challenges, the switch from right tackle to left for Dewan, it's a tough one, especially with your pass set, because you're kind of pushing with your opposite leg, you're catching with your opposite leg, your brain is working backwards with your hand placement and stuff. But I definitely am really positive about that maturity that he's gained this year, and kind of that seriousness that he's taking to his position, knowing that he's got the potential to be a great left tackle for the Cleveland Browns.
All right, Joe, we can't wait for this answer, because we got into a vicious fight out of nowhere to start the show on the spitting incident yesterday. And
oh, God.
I know you're not supposed to spit on people in real life. I don't consider football real life. And I love gamesmanship. I love seeing these guys go. Taunting doesn't bother me. What did you think? What needs to happen to Jalen Carter? And has it ever happened to you?
I don't think it's ever happened to me. Honestly, I can't remember a time in my sporting career where somebody just walked up and spat on somebody. I mean, how disgusting. Like, I'm not a guy that gets easily freaked out. I mean, I've been gutting deer since I was like 14. So, I don't get squeamish by stuff, but just what a disgusting act. I don't think there's really any place for it. I think the NFL does go a little overboard sometimes on their celebration penalties and the no fun league stuff. They've gotten better, and I think it's cool. I don't know if you guys watched the whole game last night. You probably did, because this is what you do for a living. But I thought it was cool when the defense for the Eagles made a stop or a turnover on the goal line. They got in there and they did the tush push as a whole group. I thought that stuff was great, but I just don't see how spitting is a good thing for the sport or entertaining in any way, shape, or form. So please defend yourself.
So if anybody spit on you, it's fighting time.
I don't know if I'd fight him. I'd probably be more like Dak, because I guess I'm always the cool, calm guy that's on the field going, if I fight you, that's not going to help me from this moment forward. It's probably better if I do nothing and just let the guy get kicked out and the NFL handle it. If that happened on the street, maybe we're having a different conversation, though. But I think
so cerebral.
In that moment, you're probably so surprised. I mean, it almost looked like Dak was like, "What the heck was that?" Like before the even first play of the game.
Well, there were people claiming that he spit first, which there's a video that shows, but I don't think he spits at
they're
Jalen
not
Carter.
close to each other. They're actually further away from another view.
You take that back
also,
then, too.
Yeah, thank you. Take it back, Tone. But the other thing is, okay, let's just assume that Dak spit at him. You would have seen a visceral response from Jalen Carter, right? Like fighting, right? I'm going to fight you. But he just coolly walked over there with a big smile on his face and hawked a giant, a pretty nice league. I'm going to be honest. If he was spitting watermelon seeds, he's going to win at the county fair. But I digress a bit. I just was so blown away by it, and it didn't seem like Jalen Carter's reaction was that of somebody that had been spat on and was returning the favor.
Yeah, he's acted like he wasn't that mad about it. All right. Well, Joe, are you picking the Browns in on Sunday?
Oh, yeah, baby, all the way. Brownies. Take it to the bank.
Are you going to be in town?
I will. Yeah, actually, Crown Royal's bringing me in, and I'm getting to hang out on Dog Pound Drive with the fans and the Crown Royal Big Rig, handing out premium seat upgrades, and this is totally not an ad at all. This is just what I'm doing before the game.
I didn't mean to set it up, but please go right on ahead.
No, hey, good key. They're going to be really happy, although I'm not sure if the Crown Royal CEO is listening to the 92.3 The Fan, but he should be.
Yeah.
But either way, I'll be there. It's going to be a fun one, and I just love opening day, right? The home opener is just so much fun. It's such a jovial party atmosphere. It's great to be part of. I'll never miss it if I can.
Joe, thank you so much for the time. We always appreciate it. All the best.
Hey, I appreciate you guys having me on. And hey, I didn't forget about your Hall of Fame beef order. We just sold out of all the stuff, so we're making more for you, and I'll get it to your house, guys. Don't worry. The delicious golden beef will be at your house at any moment now.
You said it like 18 hours ago. I didn't expect it to be here like now.
Hey, we don't play around. There's a few things that just stick with my mind, real sticky thoughts. And one of them is, God, I got to get Ken and Anthony their beef or they're going to be mad at me.
We can't wait to eat your beef, Joe. Thank you so much.
Put it in your mouth. It's delicious. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Joe Thomas on the Fan Hotline.
You know what? It's so funny. I could totally see Joe getting spat at by some idiot, because Jalen Carter was being an idiot yesterday.
That's true.
And Joe just going, ooh, like the LeBron meme. Ooh, you got me.
Oh. Yeah. All right, 9 o'clock. Nathan Zagura going to join us on the show. We'll ask him about Myles Garrett's status on Sunday, see if we have any updates on Quinshon Judkins whatsoever. Of course, we'll go around the league with him, see what he thought about what the situation happened with Jalen Carter. Guys, coming up at 7:43, I know it's a Football Friday. There's audio of an owner you must hear. It's so bizarre, we had to make sure you hear it before you go to work. That coming up at 8:43. Up next, the pieces that I feel good about the Browns is why I don't think this is going to be a bad year. And you, Anthony, need to explain Hot Seat to me. Ken Carman, Anthony Lyman. Take us with you to work on the free Odyssey app. Watch us at work, at home, while you're working, whatever you're doing at home, on YouTube Live.